Greetings. I'm Dr. Deepa Prasad Venkatraman, Associate Professor at Department of Management Sciences, Pumba, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. The session we are going to speak about today is on cross-culture communication. And again, I'd like to start the session with a quote from Edward T. Hall, an American anthropologist. One of the most effective ways to learn about oneself is by taking seriously the cultures of others. It forces you to pay attention to those details of life which differentiate them from you. I think this particular quote really encapsulates what is cross-culture communication. When we talk about cross-culture communication, we will divide it into two. One is visible communication, and another is invisible communication. In the visible communication, we will be talking about communication styles, attitude towards conflict, decision-making styles, and approaching to know. In the invisible cross-culture communication, we will be speaking about beliefs, values, expectation, and attitudes. Visible communication encompasses the use of visual elements to convey information, to convey ideas. The common examples of anything visual you would say is signs, graphics, illustration, typography, digital media. Communication style, on the other hand, are the distinct way individuals express themselves, and communication style could be both passive aggressive, and assertive. If we have to define visible communication in context, it's the art of using visuals to communicate information, ideas, and motion. It's telling a story through images, graphics, and other visual mediums. Let me give you some example of visual mediums, how important they are for visible communication. Signs, road signs, restaurant menu cards, warning signs are all examples of visual communication of a specific information. What is typography? The use of fonts in websites, in posters, and other visual contents. What is graphics? Graphics are illustration, charts, graphs, infographics. They present data or ideas. Photography, images used in advertising, social media, or in any forms of communication is the use of photography for visual communication, visible communication. Animation, any moving images and videos used to convey information or to tell a story. Why do we use various forms to communicate effectively? To engage our audience, as well as in visual communication, evoke emotions through visual means. In communication styles would vary with individual expresses themselves while communicating. And in communication style, when we talk about visual communication, it's using both verbal and non-verbal clues, word choices, tone of voice, expression, as well as our body language. What are the various, as discussed, various categories of communication styles? Number one is passive. They are individuals which hold conflict, may not hold, or the right word, appropriate word would be avoid conflict, and do not or may not express their need or opinion very openly. That's passive style of communication. Aggressive are individuals express their need or opinion in a very forceful manner. At times it could be also disrespectful. Passive aggressive are individuals express negativity in a very subtle and indifferent way. And assertive communication are individuals express their need and opinions clearly, respectfully, while also respecting the needs of others. So, communication style, the 4 communication styles shared now, it's important to understand the style and what can help an individual navigate their own interpersonal relationship in an organization or and improve their own effectiveness in communication. Some of the examples very oftenly used in visible communication, which all of us use at our workplace, is visual aids in presentation, using of charts, graphs, images to clarify very complex information, company brandings, utilizing visual style. It could be in terms of colors, fonts, or brand identity, using various forms of visuals in internal communication. Visual newsletters are popular in organization today, posters, online portals to share information about the company, use of various product design, and using interfaces and packaging that are appealing and easy to understand to the end user. The second aspect which we are going to talk about after communication style is attitude towards conflict. In visual communication, we express ourselves during conflict are shared by those underlying attitudes. Any attitude which we have could be either positive, it could be negative or neutral, and they impact how we speak and communicate and also resolve conflict. A positive attitude towards conflict might lead to assertive communication, while a negative attitude might manifest either into a passive or aggressive communication. It's important that we keep it in perspective and we let's have a detailed look so that we understand the importance of attitude. Positive attitude and assertive communication. It's openness, confidence, respect to promote assertive communication. Assertive communicators express their thoughts and feeling respectfully and directly. They foster open dialogue and problem solving. Let's look at negative attitude and other style. Negative attitudes such as fear of confrontation or desire to avoid conflict may lead to a passive aggressive communication which expresses negativity in indirect forms. Aggressive communication driven by desire to win or dominate also stems from a negative attitude. Importance of attitude has influenced always our values, our own belief system, our day-to-day experiences, which collectively together shape up our attitude. I can reach out and give an example so that you understand how important it is to have your attitude towards conflict. Our communication style should vary accordingly. For a person who believes in the power of open communication is more likely to use assertive communication. Our attitude towards conflict significantly influence how we communicate both in conflict or in turn and how we resolve the conflicts. Decision making style using visible communication attitude are interconnected, and that's how both individuals and group or teams have to make choices. Attitude which represent a person's feeling or opinion can also shape decision making by influencing how different individuals weigh different options and prioritize outcomes. Decision making styles could vary. We normally categorize them into autocratic decision making style, consultative decision making style, team based approaches, and they are influenced both by communication and attitude, and they impact how decisions are made as well as are implemented. So let's now put the first two elements which we spoke about, communication style and decision making, how they both are, their relevance and how they are ingrained together. They help in effective communication. They clearly and accurately convey information through data, insights, potential solution, essential for decision making, and active listening. Paying attention to and understanding the perspective of others is vital to build a consensus, and therefore it's always say diverse voices are heard before any style or decision making is put forth. Feedback is an important aspect of it. Constructive feedback gives you, clarifies expectation, it resolves conflict, it improves your decision making processes. It also gives you personal value for your attitude and decision making. And individual core beliefs and values are significantly influences his own decision making process as well as in the organization culture, the climate, the overall climate in a particular organization can shape how you make decisions at various different levels. And finally, of course, it is individual motivation. A strong desire to achieve your specific goal can drive an individual to make decisions that aligns with their own goals. The third subtopic which we're going to talk about is decision making styles. Why should we understand them and how does it help in our communication? Autocratic decision makers make decision independently with little or no input from others. Consultative decision maker take inputs from others but ultimately make their final decision. Team-based decisions are collectively made by a group of individuals, often through consensus. And delegative decision making is delegated to another individual or a group to take a particular decision. Now, in communication, in all the four above, influences your decision making. Effective decision making facilitates sharing of information, getting together diverse perspective and clarity of objective, leading to very informed decision making. Attitude also shapes your decision making. What are your personal values? What are the organization culture and motivation to weigh different options and prioritize your outcomes? Decision making styles are impacted by communication and attitude, whether it's autocratic, consultative, team based, dynamic communication, individual attitudes, and overall organization context. So, decision making styles are impacted by communication and our own attitudes. The chosen style could be autocratic, it could be consultative, it could be team based, and it depends on your communication dynamics, individual attitude, and overall context which is there in a particular organization. Our fourth subtopic on visible cross-cultural communication is approaching to know. What do you mean by that? Approaching to know is knowledge acquisition. It's about a process of learning and gaining knowledge from the communicated information to you. It's comprehending the meaning, context, and implication of each of the information and therefore increased general awareness. It's about conscious of what is being communicated and its impact. Visible communication approaching to know suggests that by making communication transparent, accessible through various visual means, they can effectively gain knowledge and understanding of the information which are being conveyed. So let me give an example. Organization setting a dashboard. In education, it could be a diagram or a chart or a visual aid which allows a student to grasp an idea more effectively. In marketing, it could be employing an effective visual branding to communicate company's messages to its target audience and thereby help them in understanding the brand identity. All the four subtopics of visible communication help you in cross-cultural communication, which was our topic for today's session. Thank you.